Hey friends, it's Kristi. So great to be with you. Let's talk about reestablishing credit after a bankruptcy. Thanks so much for being here. I know a lot of people are facing the hard reality of bankruptcy. So whether you are considering it because you have found yourself in a place where you just can't get out from underneath your debt, or you are going through bankruptcy right now and you see the light at the end of the tunnel and you want to reestablish credit the right way, you've come to the right place. So I've been a mortgage loan officer for over 10 years. I've seen thousands of credit reports over the time, and I've helped many people on the other side of a bankruptcy become a homeowner. So I want that for you. If that's your goal, let's dive in on how to reestablish credit. So what we're looking for is the proper reestablishment of credit. You don't have to get it all at one time, okay? So don't feel like you've got to run out and grab a whole bunch of credit cards and take on a whole bunch of new debt so you can start as quickly as possible getting into the payment history showing up on your credit report. That's not really the way we want to go. We want to ease back into this, because in this reestablishment of credit, you've got to do a really great job of showing that there's no money mismanagement. So you may have wound up in a bankruptcy because of money mismanagement and just making some poor decisions, but that's not everyone. I know sometimes it's because of health issues and just an overburden of health bills. I knew somebody who came through a surgery and their insurance was just terrible, and they wound up with $160,000 worth of medical bills that they just couldn't get out of. So they had to go through bankruptcy to get a fresh, clean start. I know right now, at the time of this recording, it's amidst this pandemic, and we are months and months into this, and there are millions of people that are unemployed and millions of people that are furloughed right now. So there's going to be some economic impact on this. And I know that it's going to end up where many families that didn't foresee having to go get a bankruptcy wind up here. So there's two kinds of bankruptcies. There's, on a personal level anyway, there's the Chapter 7, which wipes the slate clean, and then there's the 11, which kind of combines everything into a repayment plan, and you have a structured amount of time on repaying those creditors and come out the other end a little less scathed than you did with a Chapter 7, where it wipes it off free and clear, starting from fresh. So we want to take our time easing in. My very first thing I want to recommend to you is get a secured credit card. It's a really good likelihood that your credit scores are just really suffering right now. And if that's the case, the only credit card you may get approved for would be a secured credit card. So what does that mean? It means it's your money that you're borrowing against, but it's getting reported on your credit report. And that's a really important thing to verify before you go forward with that credit card. Make sure they're going to report to all 3 credit reporting bureaus. Otherwise, it's almost a waste of your time taking on this new credit card if you don't have any payment history evidence of it showing up out there through the bureaus. So get a secured credit card. It's going to be your own money. It's likely going to start off with a very small amount, and then over time, maybe you can feed it a little bit more. But a really great rule of thumb, and so very important. So hear this: do not use more than 30% of that limit of that credit card. Otherwise, it's viewed as an overutilization of credit, and that can actually hurt you more than having this credit card helps you. So when you do reestablish credit, I'm going to encourage you, though, please keep this credit card open, because your credit history, that depth of that history, is based off of the longest standing open trade line. If you close that up and all of your other trade lines are a shorter time period, then you don't have as much depth, and that actually will hurt your credit scores. So even if you get to the point after you reestablish and have really great credit scores and you can get a much lower interest rate or APR on credit cards, please do keep that one open, especially if it doesn't cost you. And every once in a while, just put gas or groceries on it and then pay it off in full before any interest hits. So that way you can keep it active. Sometimes that inactivity for too long, usually 24 months or 2 years, they'll close it up due to inactivity. So consider getting a credit builder loan. This is not actually a loan. It's just simply a way to demonstrate your ability to borrow money and pay it back on time, but you're actually not borrowing money. So this is why I love this so much. One of our local community banks here in Florida has this. So just maybe ask your bank or go online and do a search for credit builder secured loan. Basically what you're doing is you're saying how much you can afford to pay. I'm just going to make up an example, and I haven't really even verified these numbers. So just as a purpose of an example, let's say you can afford $50 a month to go towards this payment. So you're going to set up, let's say, a 3-year CD through this bank, and you're going to fund it with $2,500 over time. So you're going to pay that $50 a month. It's going to appear as a $2,500 loan on credit, but there's actually no loan. You're just feeding this $50 as if you're making payments to a loan, and then on the tail end of it, you're going to wind up having this $2,500 over there in a CD for you. CD stands for Certificate of Time Deposit. It's basically like a savings account you can't really touch without penalty unless it's after a certain date that you pull that money out. So you're gonna have this money sitting over there for you. So it's kind of a forced savings account. You do pay interest on this money, and that interest is basically the fee that the bank has to pay in order to report it to the 3 credit reporting bureaus. Again, make sure it's getting reported to all 3 bureaus if you go forward with that. But then now you've got this secured credit card and you have this installment loan over here. And that's exactly the perfect mix that you want, is at least 1 installment loan and 1 credit card showing up and being paid on time. Payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. So it is imperative that you make those payments on time, especially because they're reporting for you, and you've got to be able to evidence that reestablishment of credit, that you know how to manage money, and you're proving that right now through these payments on that credit card and that installment loan. Consider becoming an authorized user on somebody else's credit card. So you're only tapping into their credit history. You're not actually using their credit card. So what you're going to want to do is find somebody in your life that has a long-standing relationship with a bank credit card. So Discover Bank, Chase, Capital One, something like that. So the key here is long-standing credit history. The longer, the better. So find a mom or a grandma or an aunt or somebody that's had a credit card for 15 or 20 years and just ask them if they'll allow you to become an authorized user. Please make sure you're on the post side of bankruptcy. Don't do this obviously now. You don't want to affiliate them with anything associated with your bankruptcy. So it's got to be once everything is discharged. Discharge means that it's completed as agreed. So once your bankruptcy is discharged, then go and see if you can become an authorized user. So you're only tapping into their credit history. Make sure it's a high limit, low balance. If somebody's got a maxed out credit card, it's not really going to help you because, again, it's that overutilization of credit that we spoke about a few minutes ago. And lastly, what I want to make sure that I share with you is monitor your credit. So Credit Karma is not a monitoring agency, but they certainly let you know what's being reported on your credit. They also share with you when your credit gets pulled. So don't go out opening up every trade line that you can. Don't go and try to get 10 credit cards to reestablish credit very quickly. Those inquiries can really hurt you, so we don't want to go that way. And having a bunch of little small store credit cards isn't really going to help you the way that you think it might. But monitor that credit, because if an old collection shows up, you need to be able to address that right away. We don't want new charge-offs or new collections or something that really was part of that bankruptcy to accidentally get reported. So monitor your credit. It is so important. And there's a couple things that is kind of a gray area for a lot of people. They're not quite sure what gets reported or not reported on your credit report. So what is not reported is bank balances. What's not reported is your utility payments to, say, your electric bill or your water bill, unless it becomes a collection. Your cell phone bill isn't reported. Your rent typically isn't reported. So those things can't really help you because they're not being reported to the agencies. Your marital status is not reported. But now if you do have a new bankruptcy, it's going to show the begin date when you started it with the courts, that discharge date, so when it came to completion. And if you're seeking to have a mortgage soon after you reestablish credit, you're looking at waiting for several years in most cases. So you want to take this time to truly be wise and frugal and take your time rebuilding credit. So as soon as you can, get that credit builder and that secured credit card, and then just work on having perfect payment history with them, keeping your balance low on your credit card, and just evidencing your ability to borrow money and pay it back on time. It's really that simple when it comes to a credit report. So that's all you've got to do, is just show you are a good steward of borrowed money. Hope this helps you. If you are seeking direct information on credit, I do have a podcast. It's called Credit Coaching by Kristi. It's on all platforms, and I invite you to subscribe. I usually upload a new episode every week, and I am here to just share this information that's so vitally important for so many people, and I trust that this helps you. I wish you the best in your journey on your reestablishment, and I thank you for watching. Until next time, my friends, stay well.